Hello, and welcome to the Coffee, Chaos, and Curriculum podcast. My name is Linda Bendall, and I am here today with Miss Ashley Barta and Miss Rita Roberts. Today is episode 2 of this wonderful podcast, and we are going to talk about some homeschool news that's happening across America. Homeschooling continues to grow, and why it is growing, and also your educational choice. So stay tuned, and we are going to dive right in. House Bill 5468.
House Bill 5468, as amended by the House, would drastically expand government oversight of homeschooling in Connecticut. The bill would require all families to file an annual notice of intent. It will also subject all families who are withdrawing their child from public school to a mandatory waiting period so that the Department of Children and Family can conduct a check of the Child Abuse and Neglect Registry, and bar any families from homeschooling if any adult in the home is involved in an open DCF investigation or on the registry, regardless of whether the allegations are serious or true, and without any option to appeal that determination. Together, these changes would establish a system of registration, reporting, and government oversight of homeschooling.
Chapter 18, compulsory education laws, required subjects, notification process. Has never been enrolled in public school. You are not legally required to file a formal notice with the state. But I think they get into it with withdrawing students, right?
Oh, definitely. Yes. From what I am reading, they are making parents who withdraw their students from public education go through the DCF process where they have to do an interview to make sure they are not, they haven't had any child abuse cases against them. So
is that like an open investigation? So DCF just kind of opens an investigation into these parents that haven't done anything at all?
Yeah, it would seem so. So as soon as you want to pull your child from public school, they're going to open up a investigation to make sure that you have never been looked at for child abuse. So that could be you, that could be somebody that you're living with. And if you have ever even been accused of those things, or somebody that you're living with has been accused of child abuse, then you are not allowed to homeschool.
Well, you know, I understand that people are really aggrieved by what happened to the little girl who passed away. That was a horrendous case. And, you know, we've had some really awful cases where children have been abused in the system. I think, Linda, we were discussing this, and you mentioned that Miss Torres, a little girl who passed away, her stepfather, didn't he work for the public school system?
So Miss Torres, she is an 11-year-old girl that was found starved to death in 2024. And this case is actually the reason the House bill was put into legislation, right? They wanted to make sure that they had a way to check on these children that were no longer in the system, wanted to make sure they're keeping tabs on the kids. But yeah, this is not that case. The other case is another girl, Miss Rogers. This case is more recent. It happened at the beginning of the year in March. And she was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And unfortunately, they did find her deceased. But the stepfather actually worked for the school district. He was a school bus driver. And you would think that
Sorry, I was confused. Yeah.
No, you're fine. You would think that would be a reason to implement that bill, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, that was a more recent case. It did involve a employee of the school district, but that one seems to be kind of hush hush and not making the headlines like Mimi. So I think altogether, these cases are very rare.
Do you think that they aren't making a headline of that one because he worked for the school? Because this could have happened if she would have been a public school kid, not a homeschool kid.
Exactly. Yes, I think exactly that is it. Is that Miss Dee Dee back there?
Yeah. She's made her appearance again. She's got some things to say about homeschooling too.
She's upset as well.
She's right in my face.
Oh, Mother Goose has some opinions.
Oh my gosh.
So academic, the other part of the law that I had a problem with was that parents have to go and basically follow these core standards in Connecticut. And, they may not agree with the core standards, but they have to follow those core standards. And that can be very overwhelming for someone who isn't a teacher. And we all have education backgrounds. So, master's in education, getting a master's in education, we've all taught for a lot of years. And, that stuff can be overwhelming. And, in my graduates classes, we were told that you cannot get through every single topic in the state standards. You'd be like 27 and still in high school if we did that. And so we typically don't. We have to choose. We have to use our best judgment as professionals to choose, okay, what am I going to go over today that's going to be on the state assessment that I might need to cover, But parents aren't told that.
Right.
You think that's built in the sauce?
Well, even as a public school teacher myself, we never finished a curriculum book. Never. There was parts of our math book that we would either throw away at the end of the year or give to the kids for summer enrichment or whatever it was, but we would never finish a whole curriculum. And for us as homeschoolers, I grab that curriculum and that's how I pace out our year. So we finish a curriculum. Yeah, see, I've got proof. She's like, yes, you do, Mom.
Oh my goodness.
So I think that's
why
the hardest
are they
part
doing this? If they're
I'm sorry, Rita,
why are they doing this? What is the motivation behind this? What is the motivation behind this? I mean, if they're picking and choosing the cases that they're using to bring this anti-homeschool law, right? And then they're making it super confusing for the parents to actually know what to do and not be in trouble with DCF because they're already intimidating people with, oh, you've got to go through DCF. Then what is the ultimate purpose here?
Well, hang on, Rita. I've got something to put on. That's better. That's so much better.
I muted you, and I didn't. All I saw was the hat.
Well,
if you're listening, the hat is amazing. You need to watch this.
Yes, I'll send you guys some.
I need a tinfoil hat. Definitely at this point.
Oh my gosh. Well, I went down quite the rabbit hole. And what I found actually was kind of surprising, but also not surprising at the same time. So, as you guys know, homeschooling is on the rise, and usually that means that public school is not. So there is a decrease in enrollment, and nationally it's about 5%, but Connecticut is about 2.5%. And well, the conspiracy theorist in me thinks that is the main reason, right? Because they need children to enroll in their public school so they can continue to receive funding. And when those enrollment numbers are down, so is the money, right? So what else are they going to do? They're going to make it extremely difficult for you to homeschool your child. And a lot of people are not going to do that. They're going to get pushed into that corner, and then they're going to throw their hands up because, just like you said, that curriculum, the core curriculum that they have to teach, right? You have to show that you're teaching these things. A lot of parents are going to be overwhelmed So they're gonna immediately be like, nope, I can't do this, and they are gonna put their child back in public school. And then you get the DCF part, and what if the parents were only accused and they were not prosecuted? We know that false claims happen all the time, especially with homeschoolers. It is very inconvenient and, you know, devastating to a lot of families that experience that. So
we're in Texas, and that is in certain counties in Texas, it is notoriously hard to homeschool or take your kid. It's not, I mean, everybody says Texas is easy, but there are unfriendly counties. Every county is different. So we were in a county, I'm not going to mention the name of it, that we felt like we needed to move out of because it was pretty hostile there. It was a county where people were reporting homeschool families pretty routinely, and DCF would come to investigate it, and you know there was nothing wrong. It was just one of those nuisance reports, and so we moved out of that county. We didn't feel comfortable there anymore. We were getting approached in grocery stores and things like that, and I felt like I was back in Maryland. No offense to any Marylanders, but it was challenging in Maryland for a while.
Oh yeah,
you were there in like the mid 2000s. So,
I've never lived in a state that's been super hard to homeschool. Like, call me lucky, but it's, even in Arizona, we had everybody upset because of ESA. So you'd have make the we love our public school stuff, but that was really the extent of you guys, I am never sitting on the porch again. This is ridiculous. But I've never lived in a state that we've had super strict rules. North Dakota, they make it look really scary because of the documentation. But in reality, once you get through like that scary meat and potato type document, it's relatively easy. We're living in Iowa right now, and Iowa doesn't really have a lot of regulations. If you want to live outside with your ducks and your chickens and your geese, come to Iowa. The homeschooling is great.
Hey.
There is nothing wrong with poultry science credits. Okay.
Exactly.
I just love the fact that they're attacking homeschooling at the same time as professional organizations are feeding into let's make regular school great again by employing all these ideas that we're already employing in homeschool. I was on let me try to pull this up. I was on a big site recently for my studies, and I found out that they're going toward ASCD. They're combined with ISTE, which is a major technology teaching support organization. They've employed a new initiative, a 5-point plan that's called the 5-point Whole Child Action Agenda. And it includes that each student enters school healthy and learns about practices of a healthy lifestyle. So being out on the farm and in the sunshine and running around taking care of poultry sounds like pretty healthy to me, Ashley.
Yeah.
And then safe and secure. Each student learns in an intellectually challenging environment that is physically and emotionally safe. There are cases of abuse reported every day in the public school system, right?
Yeah.
Thinking about it from that special education standpoint, we have all sorts of cases in the special education world with, the safe rooms, the inclusion rooms, the sensory rooms, the soft boxes that they're setting up, and restraint and all of the not good things that can happen in a public school room, school, what have you. And I don't know why they would try to take away our children's natural way to feel safe, secure, sensory inputted. I'm not even using the correct jargon that I should be, but you know, it's so hard for me to watch that, you know, from both standpoints, that homeschool mom that I know that I'm giving my kids all of
Yeah.
those things. It might not look
Right.
like that institutionalized setting or need or checklist, but I can tell you, letting my child jump on the trampoline for 25 minutes while I do a read aloud is so much better than giving them a bouncy chair in a classroom.
Right.
I mean, it is,
Exactly.
but it's
Oh my
exactly
gosh,
the
yeah.
same thing.
Yep.
And if you can look at it as
Yeah.
a professional with both of those lenses, I think that, and then I wish I could put a hat on right now because, you know, it's a lot of money, yes, but do you think that,
Yeah.
you know, these lawmakers have never sat in a classroom, have never, you know, they're not on the ground. They're not, you know, as we say in the military,
Right.
they're not boots on the ground. They're just, they have no idea
Yeah.
what they're
Yep.
doing. And then they're pushing these laws, and to put them into action just doesn't make any sense.
But there's
I would
fear
agree.
mongers,
Yeah.
right? There's fear mongers that are just out there making homeschool sound like, oh, well, you know, we're a bunch of abusers and we're doing all these things to mess up these kids. And, you know, the data from NERI comes out that, you know, these are well-adjusted adults when they get out. I mean, just as they're comparable to kids that get out of school, but I think that they have more opportunities to grow into the person they're going to grow into. We can support that. I mean, the school can't support that. The students see somebody come in with special needs or a different neurology, like, you know, neurospicy, and they come in and they're going to do what they do, right, to tamp that down and make them like everybody else, or maybe scaffold them or, you know, give them accommodations. But that's not the same thing as a parent coming in and saying, well, maybe we need to try a new curriculum, right? Or we need to try a new way of learning, or you can learn it this way. They can't do that for a whole class, but we can support
Right.
that individually per kiddo, you know?
Yeah,
And
Rita,
just
I
like
think you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about fear mongering. I feel like that's exactly what they did in Connecticut, right? They, you know, made it seem like homeschool children are constantly being abused, and when in reality, that's really not the case. I think when I was, you know, jumping down my rabbit hole, the National Home Education Research Institute, they actually did a study, and it showed that students experience abuse at rates equal to 40% lower than national average for school age kids. So I think it's just what they're showing you, what they want to show you, right? And you're going to obviously have an emotional response when there's a child involved. So
yeah,
it's a little bit easier
sure.
to push those things and make it seem like this is happening all the time. And I know there are a few large cases that come to mind when we talk about child abuse and homeschooling, and those are going to happen. But I think the reality is it's not as often as you might think. So.
Well, and I like to say that I put my kids in front of mandatory reporters all the time. And they go to the dentist, they go to the doctor, right? They do get their shots. Sorry, guys. My kids actually get some of their shots. I mean, they don't get like all of their shots, but they get all the shots they need. And, you know, they see the doctor every year. There she is.
Let me just put this back on.
I needed to make one. I'm just going to use the paper that I've been.
Oh my God.
I wore my Bigfoot shirt. I would have worn my Bigfoot shirt. You guys, I swear. It's still my husband's. We just, you know, I think there's a lot to be said for people that, you know, I hope we're not going back to the battle days, because the birth rate is dropping, and because there's not that many more kids enrolled in school. And I know here in Texas, just for an example, they were not telling the coaches in these public schools, which they could opt in to allow homeschoolers to do extracurricular activities. But districts were not doing that because they were not telling the coaches that they would get money for letting these homeschoolers in. So they were getting $1,500 per student per extracurricular activity. That's a lot of money to offset,
Oh, yeah.
the expense of having that student, insurance and what have you on the team. But it can mean so much to those homeschoolers to be a part of that team. And yet they weren't being allowed to join. And so parents are just, they're starting their own homeschool leagues out here. They're doing their own everything, soccer, baseball, football, everything. And
we actually have a football team here, a homeschool football team, and they play against the high schools, which I think is amazing. So
yeah. My daughter was a runner, so I know lots of homeschoolers who do track and field and cross country in high school, and they join up. Oh, what about that homeschool law I was reading, Linda and Ashley?
What?
They recommend that if you are homeschooling during high school, that they don't have to accept those credits. So
oh no, you're breaking up, Rita. You're breaking up.
Sorry.
There you go. You're back.
But
you're back.
That
and she's gone.
And she's gone. And she's gone again.
I heard some military homeschooling families, they've been homeschooling in a different state, and then they are moved to Connecticut, PCS to Connecticut. What are they supposed to do? So
they're going to panic. They are for sure going to panic. I would panic if I got orders to Connecticut right now.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I wouldn't like that much.
Not just because of the law. I think I would panic because of the uncertainty, the big changes.
Yeah.
Because when you make big changes like that, no one knows what's going on. No one has any idea. And it's, like I said, nobody's on the ground really understanding what is actually happening.
Right. In Connecticut, I think they used to be one of the more free states to homeschooling, kind of like Texas. And then they did a complete 180. So
if it can happen there, it can happen here.
Exactly. You just never know. So I think
that's scary.
That is extremely scary, right?
So you think this is going somewhere else? Do you think this
did read that they are at a 20-year low in terms of enrollment rates? 20 years.
Yeah.
All-time low. So I don't know.
So
it's the same with West Virginia. It's the same with Illinois.
Now, is that because people are having...
to me? Well, I just was going to say, it's interesting to me, like as the public school teacher, ex-public school teacher, why they wouldn't be trying to proactively improve their schools and get those kids back in enrollment versus coming to attack the homeschoolers. Unless homeschooling really is on to something.
But see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you have the ASCD making this 5-point agenda that looks a lot like homeschooling agenda, okay, and I think Linda's going to post that link. They're trying to make regular school more like homeschool, and it's not going to work, ladies, because they can't do it. We've got something they don't have.
That. Yeah.
No.
Exactly. And education rates are dropping too in public school. I think the new rates just came out, and the reading scores were down 83%.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad.
And then that's a huge number.
So that's awful.
Yeah.
They were talking about high schoolers not really being able to read, and then also the critical thinking piece. Like they're not willing to do the work that it takes. So
they can't write an essay because they've never read a book. They've never read a full book, I'm hearing. And to hear something like that is devastating. So it's no wonder that the military and different corporations are saying, hey, can you come join recruiting us homeschooler, graduates, and saying, hey, you need to join our team.
Exactly.
There were big recruiting events at the conventions. I did not make it to Kyiv this year, but I heard it was excellent. Did anybody go to any conventions this year or plan to go on any conventions?
I wanted to go to
Kyiv, but it did look good.
Yeah. No, I didn't go to any. I should have. I had plans, big plans, but no. I just collected more
the
chicken
National
and
Leaders
ducks.
Conference is coming up.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I'm going to make that one. I'm going to try to go to a convention here that's coming up in July. So I'm excited about that and get my curriculum discounts there.
Oh, yeah. You got to get it.
Oh, speaking of which, do you guys use Matthew C?
No, but I did
No.
see you posted about it.
Yeah, so they are changing their paradigm, I guess you could call it, or the way they do things. And as of, I want to say June 14th, if you don't have their videos purchased for life, if you don't get them, it's going to be like a subscription service is what I'm hearing. So
Ew.
I'm not
Why is everything
advertising
going
for
to a
them.
subscription? Oh my gosh. Can't. Let me not even get on that topic.
Can't turn on your car without the subscription
Can't turn on
service.
your car. You can't use your washing machine. How's your dishwasher, Ashley?
That dishwasher is a dream. It is a dream. Do you guys want to hear this story? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
we talked about such heavy stuff, and then now we're going to talk about my dishwasher.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Laying this up for a minute. Laying this up.
Well,
Let me
you
put
know
this
what
back
all
on.
started? Yeah, exactly. It all started with a garbage disposal, ladies and gentlemen. Garbage
Oh, no.
disposal was replaced. Then the dishwasher would not drain. So life happens, and I've been hand washing dishes for a month. It happens.
God.
You know, no big deal.
Yeah.
So we go and purchase a new dishwasher. I don't want to make a decision. So I send my lovely husband out in the wild and I say, pick a dishwasher. He picks this wonderful one that I don't even know how to load because it's so fancy. And he installs it.
You should never let your husband do this, by the way. Never.
Oh, man. He installs it and it's not draining again. So the old one wasn't draining. The new one is not draining water. What is going on? I mean, he was fit to be tied. He was very upset that this was not working the way he wanted it to. And if he's going to listen to this podcast, he's probably going to be mad because I say what I'm going to say. But he did not take the plug out of the garbage disposal. So
I never would have guessed that.
I got a new dishwasher because there's one little plastic plug in the garbage disposal.
Oh my gosh.
So your wife win. Exactly. Like it's like whisper quiet. It's got 3 levels of like amazingness. It tells us a countdown of how many minutes are left on this thing. I mean, it's a dream.
Wow.
It is a dream.
Wow.
It's like a Cadillac are Cadillacs even a luxury item anymore? Or are they just still kind of like a vehicle? Okay. So it's like a Cadillac of a dishwasher.
I see them on the road every now and then. I'm like, oh, okay. It's either a granny or one of those new millennial like millionaires, tech millionaires. So.
Exactly.
You know, when I was little, I wanted a pearl white Cadillac because pearl white seemed very rich to me, right? Like that screamed I had made it. And we just found a used vehicle for our third child. We needed extra room. And it happened to be pearl white. And now I hate the stupid thing because it's always dirty on a gravel road and it's never shiny. So be careful what you wish for. That is a perfect example.
Well, right now I'm wishing for a new tractor. It's like I've got this tractor and it's like this is our squirrel moment. I have a tractor that I wish was just one size bigger. Because I had to put in a new road, and you ladies know how many hours I spent on that road. I am sunburned because of that road, and I swear I nearly upended my tractor like 16 times, just picking up gravel and moving it. And I'm like, oh, so that's my new. She's made it. If I get a bigger tractor, Ashley,
she's made it. Oh my gosh!
All right, we'll reach out to John Deere, and hopefully he'll sponsor. John Deere,
Cadillac, KitchenAid appliances. Sponsor our podcast, please.
Oh, come on. This is the stuff our kids learn from, right? I mean, I don't know. How many yards of road base does it take to make a road?
Exactly.
It's this long, right? Isn't that what they
have-
call? Oh, come on. There's a name for it in school. It's learning by, was it assessment for learning or something like that? When you develop a project that's,
Yeah.
they have to figure it out.
Needs-based learning or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yes. See, listen to us.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that's awesome. Oh my
You
gosh.
guys are so silly.
It's fine. It's fine. I know Rita has gotten some social creatures hanging out on her back porch.
Oh, gosh. The turkey
Tell
bros.
us about your turkey bros.
Yeah, the turkey
Well,
bros.
they haven't started roosting on my tractor yet, so we're good. But these guys are crazy. They're teenage turkeys, and they follow me everywhere. So I feel like I'm the redneck equivalent of Magnum PI. I don't know if you guys remember that. He used to walk out of his a little like bungalow or whatever, and he'd go, "Hi guys," and there'd be two fancy pedigree Dobermans waiting for him. I walk out of my house, and I've got two teenage turkeys that are not going to be Thanksgiving because they're just so sweet. But they sit in front of my fan on my porch and mess it up. And
I love your pictures of your turkeys hanging out, enjoying the fan. That's
We're
like
gonna
my
have to post
favorite
them.
thing.
Well, we'll share them.
We're gonna have to
so
name
stupid.
them. You know, since
They're
we've
named.
named the goose. Oh, the turkey bros have actual names. Let's hear it.
They do. Okay. So the one with white chevrons on his tail is Chuck. And the one without white chevrons, he's more mild-mannered, is Linus.
Linus and Chuck.
Charlie Brown.
I love
Linus and Chuck. Wow.
Charlie Brown and Linus, yeah.
We named our one Peking duck Harold. I don't know why his name is Harold. And then we've named our Sultan Rooster. He's the loudest, and you will hear him. I think you've heard him a couple of times. His name is Sherman because he's a little derpy, and I felt like Sherman was very fitting.
He's not built like a tank, right?
Me. No, he is very derpy looking. I'll have to post a picture. A Sultan Rooster is like very white and floofy. He's not much of a scary looking rooster. And then we have our wonderful goose, and my nephew has coined her Daisy Dandelion, and I think it's the best.
She's the one that was in the back of you talking, right?
Yes. She was like hiding behind the house, and they are all in the front of me now. So I have about 6 chickens around me in the yard, a duck and a goose. And it's always chaos, and they think they're getting treats, so they're gonna come up here and hang out with me here soon. So
I love it. Bring them on.
Bring them up next time.
I'm constantly, for those people who don't know, I'm constantly emailing Ashley and asking her for poultry advice because I have no clue what to do with the odd flock, which is 2 guineas, what we call a pocket chicken. She's very small, 2 turkeys, and now we added a rooster, Cookie Dough, to that because he's getting chased around by the other roosters and he doesn't fit in anywhere. So last night he had to spend the night with the odd flock, and it's just strange. I didn't know they could all live together successfully, but I guess they can.
Yeah, we have a mixed flock, and it works for us. But 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't think anyone that would know my past self would really have ever thought I would live on a farm with birds. And if I could talk my husband into permanently retiring here, we would have livestock. I swear we would have a cow or a donkey. I dream as a donkey. I mean, it's crazy. I know, but
hey, you guys have the room.
We do have the room, but we just don't have the manpower behind it. I would love more chaos, but there's only one of me.
But your husband will retire.
I know, if he would just retire. He says this every time. I know.
Yeah.
But then we'd have to have cows or something to keep him busy because he would drive me crazy.
I love it.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my gosh.
Couple pigs?
Well,
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't want to raise their kids this way, though? I mean, this is how kids used to be raised, and they were much more grounded, much more familiar with nature. they had a better opinion of themselves. Like they weren't constantly on, our kids are constantly on their phones or constantly in front of a screen. And I think it's how kids are supposed to be raised.
One thing I have learned, well, you go, Linda, because it's really
I was just going to say, we have banned phones.
Yeah. I have one kiddo with a phone, and while it's handy, it's not great.
It's not great, right?
It's and I think what I was
there's
going to
time
say,
for it when you get older, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we were actually talking about this just the other day about parenting and how we want our kids to have all this responsibility and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because we were responsible at our age. And I had to remind Linda, like, I loved being responsible as a teen, but I sure wish I would have had more childhood. And I think even as a homeschooler, we're giving our children more of childhood, more of play, more of relaxing, more of finding out who they are. She's right here.
Well, that's one thing that I hear from everybody. Like I hear that from everybody. It's like when my kids were coming up, they said, well, your kid is immature. And I said, no, they're acting your age. Just because, the kids you normally see in your practice as a doctor are doing X, Y, and Z. Oh my gosh, it's double D. Does not mean that my kids need to be doing that sort of thing. And so like we would get asked, like even the kids were like 7 or 8, hey, do you have a girlfriend? And my kids would look at them like, what are you talking about? And this sort of thing. And it's like, no, they don't have that. They have a group of friends and they hang out at co-op or whatever. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
So they go to homeschool PE.
And but I think sometimes too, on the other side, they sometimes think that homeschoolers are sheltered in that way. And I don't think that we shelter our kids. I don't think we keep them away from things. I think that we just we allow them to have more of a childhood. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think, and after turning 40, I realized like I'm not that old. Like I'm finally comfortable in my own skin, and it's great. Yeah. And so if I would have just calmed down a little bit and not been in such a hurry to grow up, it would have, And I'm so fortunate
you can't get that back.
I can give them. No, you guys, he is right by my feet, and it is.
I love it.
I am going to take a picture and I will post it for the whole world to see.
Oh, Sherman. Oh my gosh.
Sherman.
Oh my gosh.
Not all of them get names. But...
Oh, well, even my red rooster, rotisserie, he gets a name. So it's just rotisserie.
Well, sometimes out here in Iowa, when you name them, that's when the coyote gets them. And so it's really hard for us to name all of them. No, he's gone. I don't know where he went. He's probably like, it got windy. I'm done. My feathers are being ruffled. It's okay.
Well, my kids don't seem to have a problem. Like, in fact, when they got to college, I think it was easier for them to adjust to the independence at that level because they were used to pursuing their own education, right? Pursuing their own agendas. Because we structured their homeschool for them and what they wanted to do. And that was generated by their interests. Regular school can't do that. And so when they got to college, they were more prepared for, okay, I've got to do X, Y, and Z. And we scaffolded them, trying to help them, but
versus somebody like holding them accountable and holding their, oh, that's awesome.
Their hand the whole time, holding their hand the whole time, telling them what they're going to do next. Right? You're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this. And homeschoolers are like, no, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's
we have talked about everything.
Double D back there. She's really handsome goose.
She's
knows
great.
it.
I
She
love
just wants
her.
to be on the
I know.
podcast.
She probably does. I'll have to bring her inside next time so she can, instead of a fake pork goose, I have a real pork goose.
So here's the thing. I have friends that homeschool, you know, in urban environments. You know, they're not on a farm, they're not on a homestead. They're homeschooling and pursuing homeschool because they don't like what school is doing to their kids, right? Or they have issues with perceived safety issues in the school. I mean, Connecticut's going after homeschoolers, but there are parents out there that are pulling their kids out of school because of safety issues in the school. Do y'all see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Poor Linda. I think we're having some technical difficulties. Oh. Here she comes. Here she comes.
Okay.
I see us.
Okay, so my question,
but we hear you.
my question was, do you know anybody who's pulled their kids out? Like, they don't live on homesteads like we do, but they're pulling their kids out of school because of safety reasons. Like, Connecticut's accusing homeschoolers of being, you know, potentially abusive, right? So they have to be checked out before they pull their kids out of school. But have you met anybody who's pulling their kids out of school because they're worried about the environment the school provides? Have you heard that?
Oh yeah. When
yeah.
When I was in Monterey, you know, and I was running the Monterey group, a lot of families were pulling their kids out for safety issues, and a lot of it was bullying. A lot of it was, you know, the other students' behavior, and then like the teachers. I think the teachers are kind of in a weird position where their hands are tied when it comes to disciplining the students, and I think that's kind of just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it happens
It's part
all the
and
time.
parcel.
I think.
Yeah.
I just think that as a and I'm not speaking for my teacher friends, but as a person that was in the school, because our classroom sizes are large, we're by ourselves a majority of the time. You have so much admin stuff that the teaching isn't really happening. It's more of the classroom management. And then you can't be with them all the time. So kids are left to their own devices, and not that a kid is inherently bad, but they're going to do what they're going to do, you know? Then it gets old, and then as they get older, they have more, you know, and then it goes right back to the phone bullying and the social media and you know, all of those things. So I think people are pulling their kids out for many different reasons. And I think all of us, we are all homesteading. So it makes it look like we all homeschool because of that. But because we're military, I've homeschooled in many different areas and reasons. And we've homeschooled on base, we've homeschooled off base. We have many friends in the metro area here that homeschool just for other reasons in general. It might be safety, it might be special needs, it might be health reasons. I mean, and then homeschool looks different to everybody. So there's just, you know, so I think ultimately we all homeschool because we want that freedom, and we want that the joy of learning and the joy of childhood back versus all the other stuff. And I hate that the schools get the bad rap for that. But also, I don't think a school would say, oh, I hate that the homeschooling community gets a bad rap. For some reason, the public school just doesn't want to admit that there might be other options. And for us,
I wish we could work together. I think we need to get to a point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We need to work together. I think the future of education looks a lot different than either just public school or homeschool. I think there's a lot of hybrid schools now. Here in Central Texas, they have one-day schools. Have you heard of those?
Mm-hmm. I think it's great. I think that there's
Yeah.
Just like us, we're all individuals. We all choose a college because the college fits us versus the college, choosing us, or we have to go to this
Mhm.
college because we live wherever we live. So I think I wish we all could work together to make it work for each kid, because not doing that
Yeah.
is kind of hurting that generation.
I agree. I think it's possible. It doesn't have to be antagonistic. So people are saying, well, it's all homeschoolers' fault, and it's not. And I understand that population of students is going down because people are having fewer kids. We can't all be Elon Musk, right? So it's just it is what it is. But I think
Yeah.
that we need to be aware. I mean, the internet and lab intensive that was taught by a former instructor for used to run like a cadaver lab for the medical school. He taught AP biology lab. That is amazing. It was an amazing opportunity, and we got to do that. And there are retirees like that all over that are finding new lease on life by using their skill set and teaching homeschoolers. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
but anyway, so I think I've got my turkey bros sitting outside my door, but they're being real quiet. So I'm thankful for
Oh my
that
God.
now.
Everybody has left me. I wish you guys could see, because the glass door that I'm sitting next to, both my boys are sitting there staring at me. They're like, you coming inside yet, Mom? Come on, you want to.
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm not. I'm living outside today. I am going to live outside. It's great.
Hey,
It's
it's
too
nice
hot
out.
to live outside
You gotta
every
enjoy
day.
it. You gotta enjoy it.
Yep, exactly. Oh my gosh.
So
Well, Linda, what? We can't
I was
see you,
let's open up.
but we
You
can
can't
hear
see me
you.
again. Okay, I was gonna say let's open up some this.
Oh my
We're losing
Linda. Where'd
Linda.
you go?
I know this is the chaos part of.
Can you, okay,
you know.
but can you hear me? I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Oh,
Yeah, I can hear you.
okay. Yeah, let's just have some discussion questions. I guess we'll just kick it off. Should homeschool regulations be increased or decreased or remain the same? What do you guys think?
Oh, did you say federal?
I'm all just homeschool. Yeah, homeschool
Just
regulations altogether. Yeah, in general, I'm
I
for
like the ones where
less
I'm
government
living.
all
Yeah.
the time. I'm less government. I'm
You
here
know,
for the people.
I think less government is always a good thing, because there's always so many little pieces that nobody understands when they're way up here for us down here.
Yep.
I think, coming from that sped background, I think that there should be some regulations, because it helps our kids get the services and things that they need. But I'm right down the middle. Like, I hate that it has to be black or white, more regulations
Yeah.
or less regulations. Like, I wish that there was some even, space. And I think, because if we have regulations in our situation, and I'm only saying it, speaking on my family, some of the more regulated areas we've taught in or homeschooled in, we have received money to homeschool. And that helps pay for extra horseback riding therapy, some of these extra things that
Right.
I don't even think my son would have gotten in public school. So it has nothing to do with us homeschooling for the money to get those services. It was just extra in general. And then that, that made his homeschooling or his education more enriched. And that was the best thing for him. If we would have put him in public school in that state, he would have never gotten any of those things, which is unfortunate, but that's just the state of the situation. I think Iowa, for example, has 4 different areas, options to homeschool. And I think that that is probably the best gray area we've had, because it gives you options. You can either have no oversight and you do what you want, or you have some oversight and you get a little bit of funding, or you get to enjoy some of those public school activities
nice.
or extracurriculars. So that's a hard question, because regulation
I think it is
good. It is. Yeah. I don't think that, I mean, any of those things, and you know, you can put anything, diehard homeschoolers are like, no, we want the freedom and we want whatever. But I think as military homeschoolers, we have seen the different states and we've experienced different things. Now, would it help if homeschoolers had one rule, so we didn't have to worry about moving to Connecticut or some of those other places and we have no control over it? That'd be great. But that, I think, is hard to regulate and police as well.
Yeah. It is. You'd have to have somebody at the federal level, which I would hate to see. But I really like the way Texas does it. I mean, they're very hands off, but at the same time, I wish there were best practices recommendations. So when I was reading the Connecticut law, it mentioned best practices and what those look like. So I went in a couple weeks ago and I did a 504 for my kiddo. Why did I do that? Because she's in high school and she does require some accommodations, but I'm a homeschooler. I can give her all the accommodations that she needs as recommended by her doctors. The only thing is when she goes to college or she goes to take tests, they don't recognize anything that I do here in the homeschool unless I have it documented on a 504. And if something happens to me and she needs to go to school, then I need to have that legal, or my family needs to have that legal document so they can, you know, when she goes back, if I'm not here to instruct her, then
or college,
her dad wouldn't be able
or
to do
secondary,
that. Or college, that she has that, right? And so that's to protect her. So I think there's some recommendations that, you know, we could speak to that are actually just recommendations, not encoded into law, that would like really help people, especially the newcomers to homeschooling. But yeah, those best practices are actually encoded into law in Connecticut. And, you know, not everybody's going to be able to use them. Like we discussed, we're all different. We all do things different. We all have different kids. And, you know, I think those recommendations should be just that, recommendations. But yeah, I'm for less government oversight. You know, there's always that one person who makes it so we can't have nice things, right?
Every time. That one person that wrecks it for everyone.
Yeah. There's always going to be somebody like that in the public school system, though, too, right? So, I don't know. People do stupid human tricks.
I love that. Stupid human tricks. It's great.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But we like it here in Texas. It is pretty open. You know, you don't have to do testing. A lot of people don't agree with testing. You guys know how I feel about testing. I think testing is just kind of like a learned skill. So I try to do it every now and then. It's not super like involved, like every year I have to do it. We lived in some states where we had to do it. I think Virginia was one. But
Rita, this is the thing. But there's a but. There's a but. I love a good test, and I think it is a learned skill. I agree with you 100% on those pieces. I don't think that a homeschool child should have to take a state test to measure aptitude or whatever it is at that grade level, because the school then uses that test to receive funding or make AYP or any of those other things.
Right.
And my child doesn't get services through the school, so I should be opted out of that test. But then not only that, and we might get some heat for this question or this statement, but how many homeschoolers are on the level that they are registered for?
See,
across
we're
the
not.
board. And I'm not
Yeah, we're
no,
not.
and I'm not saying homeschoolers
We're
in
below
general
level.
are below. No, we're saying as homeschoolers, because we don't follow the Common Core or the state standard to a T, a lot of our kids are higher in
They're
grade
advanced.
level, or we have very splintered skills because we are not following that benchmark. You know, my say second grader, you know, I don't have a second grader, but I'm making it up, could be a 4th or 5th grade reading level, but right at second grade for math. But know more history than they care to know because they have 4 older siblings, because they went through history as a family since they were 2. You know, I
love
think
that.
that's, I mean, I think it's one of those things that if we say we're not on grade level, public schoolers just gasp and, oh my gosh, I would never homeschool, or I can't believe you're doing that to your kids. But in reality, homeschooling is just not on the same, it's just different. So why would we need to be tested? Why would I need to test my 6th grader against your 6th grader in public school so you guys could receive funding?
I don't do like the STAR test. I don't take my kid to school and have them test in the school. I test in the home so we know what's going on, and I know what grade level they fall at, if that makes any sense. And so the reason I do it is for practice. So when they go to take those big normative tests like the SAT or whatever, they'll know how to do it. And that's pretty much, it also gives us kind of a baseline. But yeah, my kids have never been on target. Like, they'll be advanced in some levels and slightly below in others. But when I test, initially when we started homeschooling, we were like super nervous. Like, we can't do this. This is not in our wheelhouse. Don't they have professional teachers for this? This is before I was in graduate school for education. And coming around to it, I found out that, oh wait, they're scoring above the public schoolers on the regular. When those test results came back, and I think that was kind of a reassurance to my spouse, who wasn't fully on board until he saw some of those results. And it is a different animal. It is a different beast. I agree. And so when my son went to school, he got in for computer engineering, and he's lateraling into communications because he was fluent in Japanese. And I mean fluent because he could pass an exam in Japan. He took the practice test in Japan that the State Department does. And he got into his classes, and they have to take, because it's so bad when the public schoolers show up to college anymore, they're giving them tests. They're giving them entry tests. So math, reading, and if you have a foreign language, you say you took foreign language. So he took the foreign language, and he tested out of this, he was chatting with the proctor, in Japanese. And then when he got into the class, they said, you know what, you don't need the entry class. You need to go to this other class. But then he had it difficult with writing the language. But whenever visitors came from Japan, he was, hey, could you take them around the campus and show them around, type of thing.
Yeah.
And, so, and that's funny because homeschoolers are not supposed to be able to do that. Right. So,
you would think, but
they're so antisocial. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
We're just, and that was something he pursued on his own. He did that on his own. That wasn't a curriculum I purchased or anything. So
it's the
he's
power
up here,
of wanting to learn.
Yeah, it's he's up here for languages, and so he's lateraling to communications, and because he says, "Mom, nobody's going to program computers anymore because AI." So he and all his friends left computer engineering.
It's still amazing. What an accomplishment!
But it's them though. I don't know computer engineering, and I don't know Japanese.
My husband
It's
said,
doable. It's doable.
yeah, my husband said one time, what are you going to do when they get to a subject that you don't know how to teach? Well, I know how to teach it. I just don't maybe know the answers, and I will figure it out. Or I'll outsource. I mean, and most of the time when they get into those higher grades, they self-teach anyways because they want to learn it, because they are at that level where they know they need it for a higher level, class or what have you. So, no, this is it's all good stuff. We could have a 4 or 5 hour long podcast if we wanted to, right? Because we could just chat all day long. So,
no, but my turkey bros did not get fed, so.
And I think we lost Linda to some internet issues. So, we just want to say thank you for tuning in to our second episode of Coffee, Chaos, and Curriculum. It was fun. I love our chats. I love that we can put them out into the world versus just our little hidey hole on Facebook Messenger. This has been great. And Linda gets to do all of the back office work and edit and all of the things. So we're recording this episode on a Tuesday, and hopefully you'll get it by a Friday. How about that? It's in true homeschool mom fashion. So thanks, Linda, for putting this on.
Yeah,
You're not
Linda,
on right
thank
now,
you.
but thank you. Thank you, Rita, for such a good, awesome, I can't even talk, awesome discussion. And we will see you guys soon. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.